Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying time is here once again at the Iron Shack. It is the Thundernuts home field, coached by Vince Bombardi, and here is their team. And I am here with Patches, who's once again jumped up onto my chair to find out why the hell I am screaming at a computer screen. Alright, Patches is my cat co-host, and we are now going to move on to Nurgle's Leftovers, the coach's dust-off, or sorry, ex-dust-off X. And they are the visiting team. They're the Undead. They have some players from other teams, so in some ways they are, the best of several worlds, or maybe the worst of several worlds, because they are the people who died on other teams. So maybe they were the ones, the left. I guess that's why they're called Nurgle's Leftovers. There you go. All right. Here's the coin toss. We're gonna see who goes first. Of course, it doesn't show us here. Looks like, I think that the first one set up is the one who's kicking off. I always forget that. Alright, so you have Nurgle's Leftovers lining most of them up in the straight line with a little bit of curve off to the side. Oh, a straight line on one side and a curve off to the other. And Thundernuts getting themselves somewhat of an I formation here with staggered line at the front. Oh no, okay, they're going to have separated. Oh! Further back on the left, and is also the opposite of Nurgle's Leftovers. And there we go with the kick. There's brilliant coaching on the side of Nurgle's Leftovers. And it is away from the, right in the middle of the Dwarven players. So that was a good kick because it's very far. It's almost like a baseball hit. You really want it way out, especially when you're playing the Dwarves. You want it way out, far away from everybody, because now they have to spend their whole turn running to it. But the Dwarves had a good setup there where they put some of their players, by not putting them right up on the field, by having some of them in the back, they were able to pull some of them away without getting tripped. And now they're going to set up a wall around the carrier who's going to run in there and get it. That is a Murgatroyd Skittle, now has it. He's going to set up there. However, he set himself up where there's a gap there that they're going to be able to run in. Oh, and now they're going to hit them on the line. It is time for killers on the line. Oh, and he's going to knock himself down. Flattened, as flat as he can go there. And goes on to Nurgle's Leftovers. The Undead going to see if they can build their numbers at all. Oh, yeah, take down that Slayer. Lennefer Jenna is KO'd. Jadaniston is... Jadaniston. I am bad at pronouncing these Dwarven names. Or actually, they're Key and Peel names, but that's alright. Mummy's gonna knock him back. And zombies are gonna get themselves in the way. I'm kind of surprised they didn't take advantage of that little bit of a gap. It was sort of a diagonal gap there. They could have gone in with their blitz. And one could say, well, they still have time yet, but they've time left, but they've used up their blitz already. Yeah, skeletons are creating a line of the Undead, Quintus Marrowblade, and Carrion Grinder. Alright, so they're going to have one of their ghouls lining up there, and the other ghoul's going to run around the flank. Alright, the Dwarves are going to have to push their way down this side of the field because they do not have much on their right. Oh, and they're not even going to blitz there. They're going to just kind of go up to the line. Now going to slowly make progress. I guess the Dwarves are all about slow but steady wins the race. And actually, that is true. They have better defense than they have offense. So, might as well just simply make a very slow steamroller. Speaking of which, I'm surprised that there is not a... They don't have the steamroller. I think that's one of the things available to the Dwarves. Maybe they haven't been able to afford it yet. Alright, on to turn 2 for the Undead. Oh! Right away they get a double knockdown. It's kind of like last game we had. Knocked straight back there. Knocked the ball carrier back a little ways too. And they're opening up their line. Well, the Dwarves are not doing as well on defense as they had maybe hoped. I saw something about saying that dwarves are hard to play, and I suppose this is why. I always thought they were real tough and everything, but they've not been showing as much resilience as I sort of expected from them. I suppose they don't get injured, so maybe they're good with the long term. And the ghouls coming around the back. Those ghouls are the agile part of the undead team. Oh, and yeah, this is their, what is that called? The white. The ghouls backed up by the whites can be a really tough thing. You know, the undead have been really a solid team. They have, they've been using their skeletons and their zombies to just kind of create that line, and then doing everything else behind the field with their other players. Oh, and there is a double knockdown, but here's the thing where there's that block aspect that all the dwarves have block, so whenever they roll that double knockdown, they still accomplish, and they made no yardage. They just simply stopped where they were, and that, I think, is going to prove a mistake for them, but I think they're waiting until a hole is knocked through. Problem is, when it comes to undead, it is really hard to create that hole. If you have Skaven or something like that, you can get them knocked down, but the undead tend to just keep on coming back up, if you know what I mean. Oh, that is an interesting move, is using their blitz on this side of the field rather than the part with the... It seems that the undead are using a strategy of containment, and they basically have the dwarves locked in there in that backfield on their left, and they're just like, well, you have to come to us, so we're just going to stay where we are, which is actually a pretty smart move. And the white's going to knock down that one. They're just basically going to kill everybody else off and just go, well, if you want to stay there in the with the ball, that's fine with us. We'll just knock everybody else down. Alright, what are the Thunder Nuts going to do here? They still have this white to contend with in their back. Oh, yeah, once again, block. That comes in handy for them. And they've now finally, well, stunned that one, so that's going to give them an extra turn to do something. I'm not quite sure what they're doing at this point. Are they going to go out for a pass or something? Oh, they are trying to pass it. They need a reroll. And the guy can't quite catch it. Dwarves are not particularly good at throwing. I'm not quite sure what the strategy is here. Maybe he was going to try to shift to the right, but he's forgetting that the undead can move faster than them. So if they had even succeeded, that would have been the end of that turn. The mummy and them could have come back around, and they're, you know, even if they managed to get through that, getting over here to the right side of the field, by the time the guy got there, the undead could have shifted and blocked over there. So it really wasn't going to do any good. The undead basically knocking away any competition here. They're probably going to have their white company. Their white has really been their star player for quite a bit of as well. The white and these ghouls. That's really their team. Everybody else has been just kind of hold them off while the whites and the ghouls stop them. Here comes the white to get the ball. And, oh, he is not able to pick it up. So the ball is stumbling around there. So dwarves are going to be able to go back and try to pick it up. Really, what the dwarves are best at is bowling through wherever they are, so this would have been the best move for the dwarves to just keep on trying to go there. They did have a mummy to contend with, but in general, that would have been their best move. And they really want to get that steamroller so they can, basically, because the steamroller really embodies what the dwarves are all about, steamroll through the opponents. And, of course, there's the block, and they both have block, so that doesn't do anything. And next dwarf's turn. He's probably going to move up so they can more easily... No, he's going to stay there to block the other white. Alright, so now they have the ball again. And he's going to get back in the box. So now they have just lost yardage. I mean, they're protected now, which is a smart move, but they've just basically lost yardage in that attempt to pass it. So it'll be best now for them to just try to steamroll their way forward. It's hard. It's bad when dwarves have lost yardage because they move so slow. So it's going to be hard for them to make a touchdown, but that's going to be their best bet. I mean, I suppose they're going to need to leave somebody downfield in case they get desperate and need to pass it, but they are not going to want to pass it backward again. And here come the skeletons moving up. They're going to create their wall again. That seems to be the Nurgle's leftover strategy, like I say, is, I know I'm repeating myself, but I just think it's very interesting to just kind of guard with the skeletons and the ghouls, the skeletons, the zombies and the mummies, and then leave the wights and the ghouls to run around to get the ball. Secretary Jefferson is injured. I can say his last name, I cannot say his first. I should just say Sagittarius Jefferson. That'll be his nickname. Yeah, that Slayer looks prepared for anything except getting knocked down. Oh, and here comes the mummy going up after the wall around the ball carrier. Alright, now let's see if these dwarves can get the ball down the field at all. It has been very difficult for them, I know. Oh, okay, they're going to go try to shift to their right. And it looks like they even kind of went for it. I mean, they might make it. Ah, there they go. Okay, they're going to get over there. There's just a problem with this strategy, though. We'll see if it works. Maybe it will. He is actually getting out of the way of a lot of them. The difficulty is going to be that these undead are going to go, they're going to be able to shift pretty quickly. But will it be quick enough? Oh, and yeah, there's the problem with going for it for the dwarves. Is one of them will eventually slip. But he does have enough of a wall around him that he does not need that last blocker. So he didn't need to use his reroll there. And as suspected, the zombies are just going to create another wall. I mean, wherever the dwarves go, they're just going to find that there's a wall there. And these ghouls are going to run up behind them. So, at a certain point, they're just going to have to deal with the wall rather than trying to run away from it. The Skaven and the elves, they need to run away from these things, and they can try to maneuver around them. But the dwarves, nah, they just, at a certain point, it's go time. There goes a knockdown. Well, from before, it was a little late reaction on my part. No, he's the queuing is on. Oh! The zombie went for it. Zombies should never go for it. Alright, well, there's only a thin wall there. This is the dwarves' best opportunity. Time for the Thunder Nuts to get themselves... Okay, so he's going to create his wall first. Alright. He's going to create kind of like an alley for himself. There we go. Oh, he's going to run one of them forward a bit. And there we go. Now the ball carrier is going to run up to there. Oh, he went for it. Oh, that was a... Yeah, there we go. You got to re-roll that. Oh, and he still slips. Oh, that is... Oh, the humanity. Oh, and the ball goes rolling out. It's going to go flying right into the undead's arms. Then he's going to eat the ball. The zombie's going to eat the ball. That was sad, because the dwarves were finally making headway. I suppose they went for it because they have to in order to even have a chance to get to the end zone. At this point, just too much time had passed, and so they had to take the extra spaces, or else they would have wound up with a one space away situation. That is heartbreaking. And now the undead have it, and they can probably score this this half. Oh, I see, because the next turn would have been the last turn. I just realized the next turn would have been the last for the dwarves. So they had to go for it in order to have enough spaces to get to the end zone. That really shows you do have to just make steady headway with the dwarves. If you are not making headway every single turn with the dwarves, you're not going to make it. Oh, and then he gave it to the ghoul, and the ghoul is on his way to the end zone. They're going to knock down the only dwarf who's in range to stop him. There was one thing also that the dwarves made the mistake of. You notice that the Nurgle's leftovers threw the ball to someone who had not yet moved, so that person still has movement. With the dwarves, they moved somebody, then threw the ball to the person who had already moved. So even if he had caught it that time, he would have just been stuck in place. He wouldn't have been able to move. You kind of need to plan your passes in advance. And here comes a blitz. So that means that they're not even going to try to take down the ghoul. But does the blitz continue? No, he does not. Oh, there's a frenzy. And yeah, since dwarves have block, it just keeps on going. They are better at the tackles. They really have that advantage. I mean, they're not any stronger, but having that one extra time where whenever a double knockdown is rolled, they don't get knocked down, that is really their advantage. They just need to be all about trying to knock someone down. Okay, and they're going to try to cover the ghoul. The Undead, in order to get a touchdown this half, they're going to have to take out Quackadilly Blip. Oh my god, he just grabbed his back and split him open, it looked like. Jared Jr. is stunned. That has been one of their star players. I think he even has something extra with him. And there, yep, the mummy's going to take down the only obstacle in the way for the touchdown. Now, will he continue? No, he'll just leave him in the way and go for the touchdown. Score is 0 for Thundernutz, 1 for Nurgle's Leftovers. And he's going to attack the cameraman, so they're going to have to replace the camera person. I shouldn't say camera person, it is a goblin. So they're going to have to replace that camera goblin. And I hear camera goblins are, they're kind of rare these days. Not a lot of them going to camera school. Alright, it is halftime. Get Janet Jackson out on the field so she can have a wardrobe malfunction. That guy had a wardrobe malfunction. Alright, well, the Nurgle's Leftovers getting one of their players back. And they're going to hobble out to the field there. Alright. So Dwarves are going to have to kick off. That's going to be sort of the ultimate accumulation. So they're going to have to steal the ball and run it in order to get a score here. The Dwarves are close to the front, which is a smart move for them because they're going to need it to be able to run in there. The Nurgle's Leftovers are... it's interesting. They leave one guy a little further back on one side and a little more forward on the other. Brilliant coaching. Goes to Nurgle's Leftovers. You know, that is something that kind of increases on itself, is when you've been winning, your fan base becomes more supportive, and when they become more supportive, you win more of those rolls at the beginning on kickoff. Yeah, the mummies, you pretty much just have to sacrifice somebody to those mummies at the beginning. Lenifer Jedinston. He is stunned. Ladenifer. Okay, that's how you say it. Jediniston. There. The Troll Slayer. And the other one, Tutmos the Embalmed. King Tutmos. Alright, so they're going to put the ghoul in the center, build something around him. And push the dwarves back. The dwarf does not look happy about that. And that one really doesn't look happy about that. Falling back on his mug. Time for the Thundernutz. Alright, gonna come around the side here. Looks like they're going heavy on the left side. Not putting... yeah, they're gonna completely go around that left side. And then, yeah, cover the center in a little bit more of a... They're gonna give some yardage. And it looks like they're gonna be more of a screen defense in the middle. Oh, he's gonna go down on the right side. So, they're right. The Undead left is weaker. And the center is a bit weaker as well. They actually might take advantage, especially right here. There's a gap that they're going to... Well, actually, no. This one's still... So they are guarding. Right over here, though. Oh, no, you have someone here. So, okay. So, Thundernutz do actually have a screen defense there in the center. And now the mummy's going to create an opening so they can run through this way. and the dwarves are going to have a hard time coming back and catching up with them down here. It sort of seems like the dwarf coach wants to be playing elves, wants to be running elves, because he's trying to do these large sweeping maneuvers he can really only do when you have a fast team. Murgatroyd Skittle is stunned. Yeah, there's a knockdown. And it's going to be really hard for these dwarves along the left side to come back, because running back there is they're going to trip. They're going to have to go straight through them, but of course that's going to be slow going. Oh, and there we go. One runs right in for the hit. He got him. I'm surprised the dwarves had enough of enough movement there. Maybe he went for it. But Carrigan Grinder is stunned. The ball is on the ground right by one of their catchers. That is perfect. Now, oh, he did not have enough time to knock down that skeleton. So now the skeleton's right there. He's going to be able to knock him down. This Troll Slayer not gone, but I think he just simply ran out of time. Now knocking down the blocker. You've got a white there to help the skeleton go in. And yeah, okay, so this one's going to take out the Troll Slayer. I think that the dwarf coach was having to think through his movement there so much that he just simply ran out of time. And then, oh, I'm surprised that it took that much just to get that from the dwarf. But he gets a knockdown. And the ball's going to go free again. Right by one of the dwarves, but there's some skeletons there as well. Oh, they're going to try to knock him down. Oh, and they get a reroll. Alright. I think that the Nurgle's leftovers have quite a few... Marmadoon Shezbot is stunned. I think that they have been getting a lot of rerolls throughout this season. Alright, so now once again, the Undead have the ball. They have it. They've picked it up, and now you're going to go in for the blitz. No, you're just going to stand there. You're going to go there to block and get ready for a knockdown. All right, they're going to get themselves around them first, and here comes just moving in there. Still, there's not going to be a blitz quite yet. Oh, and there we go. He counted on him blitzing, but unfortunately, who is that? He counted on the blitz from JR Jr. Jr. Well, I understand why the JR Jr. Jr. has been one of their star players. He has Mighty Blow now, which of course does not help for dodging, but he was counting on him getting lucky again. Grunky Peep is dead! They killed Grunky Peep! And he might join the Undead now. Will Grunky Peep raise from the dead? So now the Undead have a dwarf on their team. I think what they have total on their team, they have a Skaven, they now have a dwarf, and I think they have a lizard man on their team as well. So they have Undead from all sorts of different teams in this league. And they're just dominating this field. Pupsy is stunned, and now just one more to clear the field, to clear the way in front of them. And that will be the last dwarf that was in the way. Ron Balake is stunned. Wow, these Undead have really been doing a lot. I'm surprised, actually, because the dwarves are usually pretty good at their defense, at not getting stunned, at not getting knocked unconscious. Their armor is supposed to be quite good, so for one of them to get killed and for a lot of others to get knocked down... Oh, and then going for it, he's going to get knocked down. They're going to try for a reroll. And he still slips and falls. Oh, that is just sad. Oh, you know what? I just realized this is the rematch from last season, these two teams played, and unfortunately the Dwarf player had an emergency, had to leave. They had to concede. Oh, here we go, and the touchdown! Skeletons! It is now Nurgle's Leftovers 2, Thundernutz still at 0. Oh, it apparently was Michael Jackson making the touchdown there. Zombie Michael Jackson. We have in our we actually have a game called Outbreak Undead, which is a role-playing game during the zombie apocalypse, and there's a little bit of a guest appearance by Michael Jackson and the Boy Scouts of America. All right, dead and injured. That is just, well, although the body isn't on its side, he's with the Undead team. But anyway, this is sort of sad because they got the rematch the last time. The Thundernutz had lost due to conceding because they had to go. So this was the big rematch. We hope for a lot from the Thundernutz, but they lost this one as well, and this time not from a conceding. Although, you know, maybe it shows what would have happened last time anyway. Had the game continued, he might have just lost a player. Well, so now the Dwarves have set up strong on their right. There's a quick snap. All players of the Thundernutz may move one. They need that one extra square. Oh, but of course the ball is going to their weak side. They made themselves strong on the right. The kickoff went to the left, far away from a lot of their players. They actually have a good kicker on the Nurgle, or on the Undead team. It's hard to remember because they're called Nurgle's Leftovers. Does he have a kick? He does not have the kick ability. All right, so it goes right over to their weak side. They're going to get the ball, and now they're going to try to run over to their strong side. This has been something that has really plagued. Oh, the throw and the catch is not caught. It goes back again, and the re-roll makes him get it. So now he learned. You don't run the person yet. You throw it to the person who's not run yet, and now they're going to get in front of him. Actually, this time it worked. I mean, the Dwarven strategy of running one side of the field to the left to right has really plagued them this game because they need to run down the field, not side to side. But this time it paid off for them. They passed it, and from the reroll, they now are actually getting it down the field. Will they have enough? 13, 14, 15, 16? They might just have enough to get one touchdown here, so that their loss is just a little bit less embarrassing. And yes, I am calling it a loss at this point because, well, very clearly they are not going to be able to get two touchdowns. But they can make it so it's not a shutout in this game. And the Nurgle's Leftovers are throwing everything they can over to that side to try to stop the run. Alright, here comes the money. I have been silent just because I've been watching what they're doing here. It's sort of obvious at this point. JR Jr. is stunned. That was their other runner, so they better keep up that. Oh, and there goes the block on both sides. The Dwarves stay standing and the White stays standing. So now the Dwarves are going to try to go down this field. They have to steamroll down that field, not maneuver. Have they learned that lesson in here? Alright, now they're going to start knocking their way through. I know that the Dwarven coach, Alice Bone Collector, is stunned. Oh, he's going to try passing it. And he passes it. Perfect pass right to the Undead player. So it was a perfect pass, just to the wrong player. Just to the wrong side. I know that the person who played the Dwarves was a little bit surprised at how the Dwarves were not as strong as he expected, and so maybe that's why he's not playing it as... So there we go. An unsubbable object meaning an unmovable wall. But anyway, so that may be why he's thinking, okay, I'm not going to play them as a hefty team and push my way through it, because of the fact that he He expected them to be stronger and for their strength to be higher, basically. And he gives it to the ghoul. But he expected their strength to be higher and for them to have just more raw strength. And he was surprised when they weren't. When they didn't have basic raw strength. Now they do have the block ability, which gives them a bonus on that. But they don't have the raw strength he expected. And so I think maybe that's why he's not playing it more as a steamrolling team trying to push his way through. Just because they aren't as strong as he had wanted them to be. Excuse me, got a little hiccup there. Anyway, but he's kind of going the opposite way and having trying to play them as an agile team, and as a fast agile team, and that's just not the way they work. In fact, while yes, they aren't quite as strong as one would expect, they're definitely not an agile team. They're definitely not good passers, they're not good catchers, they're not fast. So he might have to switch to some elves if he was wanting to continue this sort of strategy. So Dwarves are going to knock some of them around. I mean, at this point, their best bet is just basically to cause some hurt on the undead and make them lesser players in the future. Oh, and he rolls 2 skulls right there in the end. Does his reroll. This game is almost over. Might as well use those rerolls up. It is turn 16. Each team has one turn left. It's now just a brawl fest. Just beat each other up. Let's see how many more players the undead can get for their team by... Oh, and he's going to knock the mummy and these mummy nuts. And now the dwarves getting revenge. Last turn of the game, they shouldn't even bother going after the ball. Just cause havoc. This is the part of Blood Bowl we all love. Kill, murder, maim, destroy, take down the mummy. Oh, only... well, there he's going to knock him into range of the... oh, what's that called again? The Troll Slayer. But instead he's going to go after the white. Knocked him back a little. Oh, and there... Yeah, don't even need to use that reroll. Just get knocked down and in this game. And that kind of names it with the dwarf all sprawled out there. That pretty well sums up what happened in this game. With the Thunder Nuts at 0, Nurgle's leftovers at 2. They're just going to drink themselves there again. The Marmadoon Shazbot just drinking his worries away. Yeah, there you go. That's what you do when you lose that badly. He is their all-star player on their on the Dwarven side. Thorgrim, the Vanquisher, the white, once again, is the MVP on the winning side, on Nurgle's leftover side. Thundernuts lost 1 death, which is now going to go to the undead team. And let's see their statistics. The Nurgle's leftover had it exactly 50% of the time. The Thundernuts a little less, although they had it for their own half for a little longer. Nurgle's leftovers, of course, had more yards running. And yeah, and there's a problem when the dwarves are staining more blocks than they are dealing. Dwarves really need to be causing those blocks, but they took more blocks, way more than double what Nurgle's leftovers did. That's actually where a lot of this problem was. Oh my God! Only 5 points to Marmadoon Shazbot, and the rest, and Nurgle's leftovers got all those points. Wow! They are going to improve, while the Thundernuts are going to have a harder time moving forward. But that will be it for this particular game. That ends this round of the game. As you can see there, this particular round, of the game, of the season. This was round 2 of this. Pest and Pestilence won their game against the Sewerwater Sallies. Beast Friends won against Seattle Slither, and Nurgle's leftovers have beaten over Thundernuts. Actually, so far, the teams that have won both of their games. So, and the teams that have lost both of their games. So Sewerwater Sallies are 0-2, have lost 2 and won 0. But Pest and Pestilence have won 2 and lost 0. Beast Friends have won 2, lost 0. Seattle Slither have won 0 and lost 2. And exactly the same thing here. Thundernuts lost 2, won 0. Nurgle's leftovers have won 2 and lost 0. So the 3 winning teams are undefeated so far. The teams that haven't gotten any victories have gotten 0 so far. So next one is going to be interesting because we are going to see Thunder. Let's see. Well, we're going to see the Beast Friends versus Nurgle's Leftovers. Both of them are undefeated teams, so one of them is going to have to go down. So that you're going to be watching for that game in the next one. In this one, Thunder Nutz going against Pus and Pestilence, who is undefeated, and so that one might actually go to Pus and Pestilence. But Sewerwater Sallies versus Seattle Slither, that is two teams that have lost both, so that might wind up turning into paraplegic boxing. We're not sure. We'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, that's it for us this week. We'll be back next week, and subscribe to see more of this and our other mini games. Happy gaming, everybody!